All right, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to this webinar. Welcome to our Tuesday live show. You you are locked in right now to the Skill Up Show. The Skill Up Show is that show where we come and we talk about parenting issues, especially where it concerns our young children and our preteens. We work with preteens and we are constantly having to deal with, issues that are peculiar with this group of children. And we have come to realize that there is a lot that parents can do if they can just apply themselves, to a few tools here and there, okay, and a few strategies here and there. You can start something if you can get into that space where you can apply yourself, okay, with some of these things that we share here, basically. Okay, we also know that, of course, on the long run, you have to do much more than just these tips and hacks. But then again, let's start somewhere, right? Let's start somewhere, helping these children or learning the skills that we need as parents, even as parents, to help our children thrive. My name is Marybeth Shima. I am the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy and PTM Resources, and the proud matron of the Mastermind Circle with Kamsi. Okay, I am excited to be on your screen right now, and I would like to invite you to stay in here. Let's talk about how we can raise wholesome children in today's world. Yes, how can we raise children who are wholesome? We are all raising children. Everybody's raising children. I mean, young people, old people, Gen Z, everybody's raising children because, of course, what does it take to raise children? It takes having children, right? So what we've done years and years and over again is we don't think about, what it takes, what we'll have to put into raising children. We just think about having children, especially in this part of the world. So that's why, I mean, the moment a person gets married, the next thing we're thinking about is where are the children? Where are the children? We don't sit down and think of all of the things that go into having children. We don't think about all that. We just think about having children. When the truth about it is, if you are in the world of today, the way it is today, then you should know by now that we can't chance these things anymore. We can't just have children because our daddies and mommies say we should have children. There should be some sort, there should be not some sort, there should be plans on the ground on how to, raise these children. And there should be plans for every phase of their lives. Yes, we should have plans for every phase of their lives. So today we're talking about your preteens, right? We're talking about your preteens mainly. That's what we're talking about today. Your young children, maybe your preteens, and this will apply even for your teenagers anyway. So let's look at how we can raise, how we can what we can do in today's world to raise children who are wholesome. Now, what does it take? I mean, what do we mean when we say we want to raise children who are wholesome? We want to raise children who are balanced. We want to raise children who are doing well, who are excelling or successful in every area of life. We want to raise children who are doing well academically. We want to raise children who are doing well in their social skills, children who understand the place of impact, children who understand their spirituality and who they are in God. We want to raise children who are balanced in every area of their lives. And it takes a lot to do that. Yes, it takes a lot to be able to raise children who are balanced in every area of their lives, because the way we are, or the way it is, we realize that culture tends to point you to certain things, especially if you're from Africa. Cultures points us to culture and probably to morals. Okay, so if you look at our African culture closely, you will realize that our African culture is big on, pointing us towards morals, and then of course towards, of course, living the culture, right? Living the culture. I mean, in our culture, this is what women do. This is how men do. This is what your role is as a woman. That is what your role is as a man. Okay, so you are not expected to do this. Oh, it's not a woman's role. It's not what a woman is supposed to do. Then apart from that, culture tells you, why are you standing and looking at him like that? You should kneel down. You should bend down. You should do this. You should do that. None of this is wrong. Okay, none of this is wrong. But what we realize is culture points us only to some things and does not point at other things. Now we go to the school system and we think that the school system will get it all right. Sorry, just give me a second. Just a second, please. All right, sorry about that. All right, so yes, so you not go to the school system and you expect that, okay, it's a school system, the school system should take it to the next level, the school system should be able to touch on every aspect. But we realize that with the way the school system is going these days, schools are mainly important, interested, many schools are interested more in statutory exams basically. So that's why the children come. Of course, yeah, there's some pastoral care that goes in there, okay, but it depends on the school. Some schools are so fixed on the academic area of the child's learning, okay, so they do a bit of academics here, they do a bit of morals, again will show up in the school system. There'll be morals, there'll be academics, and from school, for some school, that's how far it goes. Morals, academics, a bit of leadership skills, if they have the time. And sometimes, if you look at, the time that these schools have, the way the things are today, you realize, okay, it becomes a bit too cumbersome for them to start touching on many other areas. So our children go to school, and we expect that, okay, school should be able to create all of that balance, but school is not able to create that balance also. Many schools are not able to create that balance. Even for the best of schools, there are still areas that, they still won't touch. So now we come back to the home. Are we going to make the same excuse that culture is making, or that, the school is making? Are we going to make the same, are we going to complain, just the way these other areas are complaining? Culture can have whatever it's complaining, about. In fact, culture is fighting technology. Culture is fighting modernization. Culture does not want to embrace that. It feels like it is too much, isn't it? And then we go to the school system. The school system can't embrace everything because the school system can't even take in everything, because the children are there for some time. They are gone for a long time. There are too many children to attend to, and all of that. So it now leaves the family, right? It leaves the family as the pillar, basically, that should be able to look at all of these areas and balance it. And yes, this is something that the family should do. This is something that the family can do better than any other group or any other institution, basically. So yes, as a parent, what are the things that you can do? What can you do in your home as a parent? What can you do in your environment? What can you do in your space? Okay, what can you do in your capacity as the parent of your children to raise children who are wholesome? All right. So at PTM, we have 8 signature areas that we believe that if we're able to cover, these 8 areas, then we will be raising children who are wholesome. We call them our 8, our 8 signature area. Okay, and so when we deliver it, we say, well, the model that we're using is our 8, signature areas. Now, these 8 signature areas are the same area. It's the same dimension with which we use to work with the children in the mastermind circle. Hi, Liz. Hello, Awa. Hi, Choma. Hi, Bankole. All right, good evening. Welcome everyone. If you are here, if you're catching the replay, also let us know where you're watching us from. And if this is the first time that you are joining us in this live session, we do this every Monday at 1 p.m. So you can put that down somewhere in your schedule and join us on Mondays at 1 p.m. when we do this for about an hour. We're just talking about how we can raise children who are wholesome in today's world. And we said, culture, of course, is helping us raise children, but culture has got all of its limitations. So culture is very focused on culture and on morals. So it's about, this is what a man is supposed to do. This is what a woman is supposed to do. Why are you doing like that? You're a woman. You shouldn't this. You shouldn't that. Oh, why are you not kneeling down? Why are you not standing up? Did you greet? Did you bend? So culture is focused on morals, and culture is focused on, with this focus on this dichotomy and ensuring that everybody understands their role and is playing it that way. So the moment you can understand understand your role as a wife, that you don't do this, you don't cross these boundaries, you stay in there and all of that, and then you know how to bend down and greet and do all of that, culture is fine with you. You are doing great, isn't it? Then we go to the school system, as we said, that should create, that we think should be able to take in, all of these dimensions and make sure that we are living, we are raising children, right, with all of these dimensions at the back of our minds. But even in the school system, we realize that with years that the school system, yeah, you will get to some institutions or you get to some schools where they're embracing more. But what we see is the school system is taxed, and to an extent, it's not very easy to, spread out this dimension and make sure that our children are getting educated in all of these areas. So the school will focus on the academics, okay? You come into school, school is focused on academics. There's a bit of pastoral care here, depending on the school, okay? Then there's a bit of leadership skills. That is also dependent on the school, right? There's a bit of morals here, dependent on the school, okay? Some schools are removing spirituality totally from the dynamics, right? So you're removing spirituality and, spirituality beliefs and all of that. We're taking that away from the school and all of that. Some schools are so, there's just so much to do. They can't even, schools are not raising children who are lifelong learners. If you look at it very closely, okay, we see children who go to school and they are so focused on, exams, because schools are about statutory exams, what child did well, where our standing is as a school when it comes to passing certain exams. And before you know it, the school is actually leaving out the real fabric upon which formal education was created. So what we have noticed is, if the family as an organization, if the family doesn't step in, then we will be raising children that will not be balanced. So the family has got to come in to balance all of the things that the school system, culture, and every other thing did. Oh, sorry, I didn't even mention the church. All right. So I didn't even mention the church. So the church, in her wisdom, of course, will be focused on spirituality. So it depends on the church. You go to certain church, it's all there, spirituality and morals. And so the church doesn't want to touch on the subject of, finances, doesn't want to touch on touch on certain subjects. Okay. Of course. So the church is not touching on certain subjects like financial, education and all of that. Okay. If you see some who touch on this, it's a personal conviction and all of that. So somehow, you still see even the church or even the spiritual body as an organization cannot cover all of the areas of education. We're talking about educating a child right now. We have children, and we have children, and the children are depending on the society to raise him. The child is depending on the society to raise him to become the kind of person that the society approves, right? We're supposed to raise children to be able to become citizens of our society, right? Well-meaning and balanced and all of that. But what we're seeing is our institutions and the different institutions that are burdened with this responsibility do not seem to know how to cover all the aspects of raising this person into a wholesome human being. So I personally, this is a personal conviction, I personally believe that, okay, all of these institutions are depending on the family. Yes, I believe the school is depending on the family for the foundation that the child needs. Okay, so the school expects you to have done your due diligence, to have done the work that you can do as a family. So when you bring the child to school, this is the reason when your child is acting out of order, the school would actually invite you as the parent, all right, to say, this is what your child is doing. What does that tell you? That the school is depending on you to raise a balanced child. So when your child comes and your child is posing negative behavior, the school will give you warning, right? They invite you, they have that conversation, and then the next thing, the school is giving you warning and they are telling you, oh, after the second time or after the third time, we're not going to allow the child in. And the next thing, the school has suspended the child or expelled the child and handed your child back to you. What does that tell you? school is not taking responsibility for the behavior of your child. The school is saying to you, you are the one that should, right? The school is saying to you, you are actually the one that should form this child. That's what the school is saying to you. That's why he expels your child and hands the child back to you. Same thing with the church. You go to the church and there's certain things that you do in the church, and the church will excommunicate you or something like that. We have that in some, we have that in the church. The church can actually excommunicate you from the gathering of the brethren. So what does that tell you? The church still expects some other person somewhere, some other institution somewhere, to be the one responsible for this individual. All right. If you take the same thing, right, to the society, go back home to your village, maybe, or wherever it is that you find yourself. If you go against the law, or you go against, setting standards, what happens? The law will take you as it, isn't it? If you go back to culture will actually excommunicate you, and all of that. So basically, it is the family. I remember, that saying that they say, they really throw picking with the bathwater. So it's a family that is the one that cannot excommunicate you. The family is the one that cannot separate themselves from you. You are part of your family. You're part of your family forever. So whatever name it is that you carry, you will bring it. Whatever it is that you do to your name, it comes back to your family. So the family, the need for family to put itself into this whole business of raising wholesome children cannot be overemphasized. It cannot be overemphasized. So I'm going to be sharing with you from my book, Unlock Your Child's Excellence. Okay, Unlock Your Child's Excellence, a student's guide to excelling beyond the classroom. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing one of the dimensions. So as I said earlier on, we are going to be teaching from our signature 8-area dimensions that we believe that children should be educated along if we want to raise them to be wholesome. So take it as our PTM model. Okay, so our model is the 8 dimensions of education, basically models that we'll be sharing from. And even when I wrote the book Unlock Your Child's Excellence, I was teaching in that book, or I was in that book, I was sharing from these dimensions. Okay, so the one we're going to be looking at, we can look at all of them today, we can only look at one. Okay, so we'll look at one, and we will do this for the rest of the month. Okay, so at the end of the month, we would have shared 4 of our dimensions. Okay, 4 signature areas that we think the children should be raised along. And if we're able to touch on these 4 areas, we would have touched on every aspect of a child's education, and we will be raising wholesome children. So today we're going to be looking at self-management. Yes, self-management, right? So self-management is huge. When we say it, we just say self-management, and it sounds like it's just, how to bath yourself, how to dress yourself, how to do all of that. But self-management is huge. It's so huge that it covers a large part of your child's ability to direct themselves, to make decisions, to take initiative. Your child's ability to become is rooted in their ability to manage themselves. I said here that self-management is what allows you navigate the compass of responsibility. All right. So it is through self-management that you're able to navigate, through the compass of responsibility. Through self-management is how you navigate goal setting. This is how you're able to set goals for yourself and achieve the goals that you set for yourself. It's your ability to manage yourself that allows you to dream and to actually reach for the dream, or to go for the dream that you have. It's your ability to manage yourself. It's your ability to manage yourself that will help you stay on track, be focused, and of course help you prioritize the things that are important to you. So as parents who are raising children, as parents who are raising students, as a child who is in school, as a child who is a student, if you are going to be successful, if your child who is a student is going to be successful academically, and not just in their academics, if they're going to be successful in other areas of their lives, then you must take management, okay, that aspect of education, you must take it seriously, and it's something that you must help your child achieve if you want to raise children that will be able to navigate the compass of their life when it comes to all of these areas that I've talked about. Responsibility, taking responsibility for themselves and their actions, okay, being able to set goals and achieve those goals, being able to dream and not be afraid to chase that dream, being able to grow personally, their personal growth, right, personal development. All of this is rooted in their ability, or is rooted in the area of self-development. So let's look at 5 areas. I like to give 5 when I come for these meetings. Okay, so we're going to be looking at 5 areas where 5 areas, that our children can 5 areas that our children, as a student, the child can focus on. Okay, so I'm talking to you as parents, okay, but I'm referring to your children as students, because in this book we talked about, these dimensions and how students can use what we are sharing as a guide so that they are able to excel in the classroom and they're able to excel outside the classroom. So number 1 is self-discovery. Okay, being able to discover yourself, who you are, is part of your ability to manage yourself. All right, being able to discover yourself is something that we should point our children to as soon as our children are able to move around on their own and make some rational judgments. Okay, the moment that our children can decide, oh, I am hungry, I need to go get food, and the child knows where to go and ask for food or get food, it means that your child is beginning to rationalize certain things. The child is hungry, and the child is not just going to stand there and cry to you, attend to the child. The child is hungry, and the child knows to say, I'm hungry, and even knows where to go look for his food and all of that. So the moment your children can make small decisions on their own, they're able to take small actions for their benefit, then it is time for you to start pointing them towards being able to, direct themselves. All right, it's time for you to point them towards being able to know themselves, basically. Okay, so your child's ability to discover himself, discover the things that he likes, discover the things, the way he likes to learn. Okay, you will be amazed that your 5-year-old actually knows how he likes to learn, because basically that is when learning happens for him. So even as a parent who is watching the child, as a teacher or a guardian or a coach who is watching the child, you know that every time that the child is learning in this particular way, then you know that you are hitting it, the child is actually getting it. Okay, like when I was in classroom fully, I knew my kids that, the days we have to go outside. So I do that a lot. I would just tell the children, all right, grab your chair or grab your seat, let's go under the tree. So we go outside the tree, and I know the children that when we're outside, they are in their element, they are in their place. All right, so you will see them, they have your attention and everything. You can just see the satisfaction that they are getting from that activity, and you can tell that learning is being maximized. Okay, so you want children to be able to discover themselves. All right, so in the book we gave all of these, and we also gave the children a guide to being able to discover themselves. All right, so for your child want to discover himself, you want to teach your child, right, to identify the things that they do, okay, and be able to see how these things make them feel when they do it. So for instance, you have your 10-year-old. Your 10-year-old, of course, has times that he goes out to play. Your 10-year-old has time that the child is doing other things that are productive. Mind you here, parents, okay, that if you have not created structure in your home and you do not have boundaries in your home, you are going to get confused, because your children may not be able to find the things that they are interested. They may not be able to discover themselves. You know why? Because screen and all of these gadgets will inhibit them from being able to discover who they truly are, because all of their attention goes to to passively engaging themselves. So if your child is always watching TV, your child wakes up in the morning, grabs the remote control, he's sitting in front of the TV, he's docile as a human being, right? He's fixed in a position, docile as a human being. He's there watching TV. I saw on TikTok or wherever it was the other day, a woman that was with her toddler, what am I saying? Her little child, right? The woman was with her little child. I think that child should be somewhere around, I don't know, I can't tell, maybe 4 months, maybe 5, maybe 6 months, or whatever. Okay, I had really little baby, and she had her phone, and the child was throwing a tantrum and crying and crying. You wanted the phone. And she handed the child the phone. The moment she handed the child the phone, he grabbed the phone, he went pa 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 pa, and then he went right where he wanted to go. Okay, and just look a bit, just a little look at the comments, and you will see people there saying, "Oh wow, that's a genius. The boy is smart." So okay, so we actually, people practically, forgot the fact that this few months old child is addicted already, to some external, external activity, basically. Okay, and everybody was saying he's a genius. He's a genius that knows where to go on the phone, a genius that is a technology native. He was born into technology. Yes, he was born into technology, and he's like fish in water when it comes to technology. All he needs is to have that food consistently, and he can navigate his way. He would never know a time without technology. So he was born in technology. Okay, so basically there is nothing out of the hook, right, that the child is doing. The child is just showing you that he is a technology guru. I mean, he's a technology native, and he doesn't need overly, extra, over the top, knowledge to be able to navigate, through technology. He was born into it. It's part of who he is, basically. So there's no major genius that is going on there, basically, but a child that has been familiarized with this thing and consistently allowed to navigate, through this way, and he has been able to find his way around using that tool. So wrong, wrong, wrong on every side. Okay, so now if this is your child that from when they were 2 weeks or 2 months, okay, from the moment they could grab anything, you already had your phone in their hand, and the child is already binging on screen, and the child is already addicted to screen. Then you won't get to know other things that the child knows, because you have inhibited the child from being able to explore their environment and find out their other uh, uh, the other things that they love to do. Okay, the child is not able to find out the other things that they are good at, because all of their attention, all of the time that they have is invested on being on the screen. So you may be blocking the genius of that child. You will be inhibiting that child from using their brain capacity, because that's what screen time does. It actually shuts their brain capacity, because the children do not try, they don't stretch themselves. Okay, all they need to do is find themselves to a couch. They sit on the couch. It doesn't take much brain activity to watch something off a screen. It is lazy. As in, it is, when you're talking, you see a child and you say lazy person, or you see a person and you say lazy person. When you see that child's brain, you might as well say to the child's brain, lazy brain. Okay, because the owner of the brain is not utilizing the brain. Okay, I hope you know that there are certain part of our brains that will not be utilized until we stretch ourselves and we do things that are tasking. Now, this is a child that ordinarily God has blessed. This is a child that God has blessed with the gift of resilience. Do you know what it takes? You know what it takes for a child to learn, okay, to walk or to crawl? Do you know the resilience that goes into the activity? This child will stand up, he will try to stand, he will fall, he will get, the pain that comes with it, he will cry. And the next minute, he will try again. He will try to do it. He will hurt himself. The next moment, he's trying again. Do you understand the kind of resilience that go in there? If you as an adult can actually try things, fail, get up like that, fail, get up like that, I'm telling you, all of us will be doing amazingly well. So you see that tenacity, that resilience that a child has, all right? This is the same resilience that the child has, and the child can take to every other area. If you will just allow the child, be in that space where the child is exploring. So if your child is exploring, he's playing outside and he's trying to discover something. If he fails, he will try again. He would keep trying again. This is how geniuses are created. This is how geniuses are born. This is how the genius in people actually spring out. But because we do not allow this exercise for the children, we don't allow them practice this, we don't allow them explore their geniuses, because we have handed them phone, hallelujah, right from when they are 3 months, they started exploring your phone and all of that. And you think because that child can navigate around your phone, it will translate to the child creating programs and all of that in the future. No, consuming tech and creating tech are two different things. So you can be the highest tech consumer, and yet you cannot do one thing. Haven't you? They can use everything, but when it comes to real creating stuff with it, they can't do jack, because they don't know. I mean, the moment it gets technical, I mean, the moment it gets what do you call it, the moment it gets cerebral, the moment it gets moment problem solving, critical thinking, and all of that has to come in, they give up. But the moment it's just about cramming and knowing where to get to, you see them there. All right. So they are two different things. All right. So if you do not allow your children to explore, you do not allow your children to find out who they are, you don't allow them to discover themselves, right, through play. And I hope you know, at the early age, your children discover themselves through play. Even your 10-year-olds, your 12-year-olds would discover themselves through their interaction with people in play, outdoor, and all of that. This is how. So this is how your child, it is through, exploring that your child discovers that he has ears for music. It is through exploring and having them practice this thing that you can see that, oh, this person sings well, or he has ears for good music, or he has ears for good sounds and all of that. It's through exploration that you find out this. It's through exploration that you find out that your child actually loves to solve problems. As in, he has tenacity and he has resilience and he stays in there and he has problem solving skills. But now, if you are not allowing your children do all of this, how are you going to know this? When your child is sitting, and imagine your child is a couch potato, sitting down on that couch and playing games, and it's there all the time, what are you exactly going to discover? What are you going to discover? All right. So you want children to, to try new things, try different things. Okay. So we shared in the book that the child can actually look at the things that he loves to do and then begin to journal it. So for every day, just journal how you feel. Okay. Every time they can actually create a timetable, Monday to Friday, where they do each of the different skills that they like, or each of the different things that they like to do. So let's say your child likes to play football. Put football on Monday and Wednesday, maybe, so that he plays football. Okay. You think this child has something for music, you can see the traces. Let him do music practice on Wednesday. Okay, and Thursday, or sometimes just using the days randomly. Okay, you also notice that the child loves sports and he plays basketball, or he has the height for basketball, or he has the build for football. Sometimes just looking at the build that they have and all of that, you can actually point them to something. And their physical structure alone has prepped them, right? The physical structure has prepped them to be able to do well in this area. And you will just realize it's your simple, the simple fact that you insisted on the child trying it out is why the child sees it and the child loves it. For the longest time, I tried to get our son to play music because, of course, I know that music is good in every way. All right, music is good in every way, helps you relax and all of that, but it also develops a part of your brain. And I know all of this about, I've read here and there about, how powerful music is, in brain development and all of that. So at different points, I try to introduce music, get him to play a musical instrument. Almost every genius, has something for music or plays a musical instrument or something like that. So I tried to get him to be interested in music. And for the longest time, he wasn't interested. But every time I had an opportunity, I pointed him to music. When he was in early years, when he was in any years, nursery, when he was in nursery and reception, year one, okay, I got him into the music class, but for some reason, he wasn't liking it. Throughout the COVID, during the lockdown, okay, he was in year 5 or so, lockdown, I got a music tutor, right, who was playing. We got a piano in. Okay, before then, they had gone to music school. After the lockdown, they came back home, and then we got, an instructor that was, doing music classes with them online, and they had the instrument here at home and all of that. All all of this time, our son kept on dodging. He didn't want. At some point, the school had a program where all of her secondary kids were supposed to lock into the whole music thing. They were building that skill in them. He will go once in a while, and then other times he won't go. In fact, the days that he has music practice, he will actually say to me, he's tired. Can you pick me early? But somewhere we still kept on pointing him, to read and all of that. And one day I was in church, and after church, a woman actually walked out to me and said, have you listened to your son sing? He sings powerfully. I'm like, hey, really? I haven't. I don't know. And all that. But I noticed, that he likes to sing in the bathroom. He likes to sing in the room. He likes to sing when he's cooking. He sings and all of that. And when he sings, it makes a lot of sense. But, after that, from nowhere, he came one day and said, can we have a better piano? Like, can we have a piano? Is it possible to get a piano and all of that? So the moment, I don't know, these things, how they work. The moment, you want something, the moment you need something, okay, just seek and somehow it will happen. And then someone offered me a good price, right, to get a piano that ordinarily would have been very expensive because the person was relocating and all of that. And I grabbed it. And all of that, going home and all that. And you will see him after then. Okay, he has this tune that he gets from one of his video games or something, and then he's there practicing. He wants to be able to play that tune on his own. So he takes his time, he writes the music, he gets the notes and all of that. And before you know it, he practices for a couple of days. And the next thing I'm hearing, he's screaming in the parlor, I got this, I have it, and he's, and the times he's bored and he just goes there and he plays away on the piano just like that. So sometimes all you need to do is point them towards this. Now, when you point them towards these things, they will sometimes they will rebel because, I don't know, children just feel like I need to, especially when they get to this stage, adolescence comes in. They begin to want to flex their muscle just to tell you that I recognize that I am an individual now and I would really like to live in that individuality. But if you sit in there as a parent, you are calm, you don't insist, you don't over push, you don't turn it to fight. I think the less you fight, the more likely your preteens and teenagers will do the things that you suggest to them. Okay, so you want to come across to them as friends, not friend per se, your child's not your friend, but you want to come across as someone who understands, okay, and who respects them being individuals. I think it works more than anything else. And this is it. And the next thing, he's like, I won't mind going to a music school. So already from music school, he wants to do voice training. He wants to play the piano first. He is ready just because I kept on pointing him. So sometimes you want to point them. The moment you see, oh, he has the physique for it, he has the height for it, he has the voice for it, so point them, could you try it? You just never know. Could you try it? Let them try it. And you never know, they may just click, okay? The skill may find them and they will find the skill and they click and they fall in love with each other. And before you know it, your child is thriving somewhere. But give your children the opportunity to find themselves by allowing them explore, allowing them try things, and allowing them, pointing them to the things that you think, okay, they might like. But please don't insist. Just point them to it. Do your own part. Okay, create a platform, or help them, sort that platform. Let them try. Then after that, we'll leave it at that. You will be amazed that at some point, think about it. I said the first time I took him to music school was somewhere in his early years, and when he was in year 1. He is in JSS 3 right now. He's in year 9 right now. So we're talking about some 7, 8 years ago, right? When was the lockdown? Lockdown was in 2019, 2020. This is 3 years later, and it's only now that he is willingly getting into that space. And that's the cool thing about it. The moment they get into that space themselves, the moment they now want it themselves, that's it. The rest is history. So you want to get into that space, and see. All right. So we're talking about how we can raise children who are wholesome. And I am sharing with you our signature 8 areas of 8 dimensions of education that we believe that if you're able to harness, then you will be able to raise a child, and you'll be able to touch on every aspect of the child's life. I'm sharing just one of them with you today, and it is self-management skill, being able to lock in self-management skill. And the first thing we said for self-management skill, we say for a child to be able to navigate, a child who has got self-management is able to navigate the compass of responsibility, is able to navigate being able to set goals and achieve the goal, is able to navigate dreaming and going for that dream. The child is able to navigate personal growth and development. The child is able to, do all of these things if you can. I mean, if the child gets that, I mean, if we can get in there and help the child develop that ability to, self-manage, or the ability, for self-management, basically. All right, so the next thing is setting goals, and setting goals from the vision that they see. Okay, now you want to point your children to goal setting and visualization. All right, so it starts with visualization, and visualization is going to start from you as a parent. As a parent, what do you see? What do you see the moment you got this child in your arms? Yes, you have a baby. Did you try to see something? Did you decide? I mean, did you form a partnership with God the moment your child came? Did you form a partnership with God? Okay, where you said to God, Father, you have blessed me with this one, but I know that it is you and I on this. So show me where I should lead this one to. Show me where I should shoot this arrow to. After all, scripture says, right, that our children are like arrows in our hands, and we are like warriors. So basically, we are going to have to position ourselves, get the right curve, or get the right position, isn't it? And shoot that arrow in the way that they should go, isn't it? So it's how you position yourself, where your destination. I mean, you can't just shoot the arrow to go anywhere. You must have where you want the arrow to go to, isn't it? It is where you want the arrow to go to that will determine how you position yourself and how you take that shot, isn't it? So where do you want this arrow to go to? Have you visualized it? Do you have a plan? Do you have a 10-year plan? Do you have an 18-year plan? Or we are just going to wing it one day at a time? Is that it? Okay. So basically, there is something about planning for where you want your child to go. Now, that destination doesn't mean that there won't be tweaking along the line. Doesn't mean that there won't be different pathway that will lead to it. Doesn't mean that in the bid to get there, you will fall off, go off the GPS, okay, and all of that, but you will navigate back. Now, for you to be able to stay on, for you to be able to navigate back every time you fall off the compass or you fall off the GPS, it means that you must have a GPS that is directing you. And so that's where your values come in. Your values become your standard. Your values become your GPS that is directing you on the path towards the vision that you have created. So I've talked about two things. As a parent, do you have a vision for where you are going with your children? Now, if you have a vision, do you have a compass? Do you have the GPS that is taking you there? That GPS becomes your values. Do you have a standard that holds you accountable, okay, that holds you accountable to ensure that you stay on track to get to that destination? Okay, now when you're getting to that destination, do you have a means to get to that destination? Where are your tools? Where are the strategies? What is in your toolbox that you're going to use to get to that destination, right? And in that toolbox, and do you have people who are carrying that toolbox with you? Do you have people who are equipping you, or who are filling that box with you? This is where your partners come in. Who are the people you're working with? Who are the people you are learning from? Who are the people you are collaborating with? Who are the people who are co-parenting with you? Are you leaving all of these things to chance? Yes. Are you leaving all of these things to chance, or all of these things are thought through? Now, we cannot raise children in today's world without thinking all of these things through. And now, as a parent, if you have not thought these things through, then it means that you won't be confident in your work. You all know now, there are days that, I mean, for those of us who are teachers, you know this very well. The day that you have your lesson plan, you have planned your lesson, you have put effort into planning that lesson. When you stand and you deliver that lesson, even you will be taught. So you know the days that you have taught a lesson and you have delivered that lesson, because even you will be taught by the lesson that you delivered. But the day that you forgot to do your lesson plan, or you did not build on the skeletal plan that you submitted, so you submitted the lesson plan for them to, and you have not built, or you have not gone to sit down and get resources and build on that plan, you will realize that you will come and you will deliver. Even your students will know the day that you are not confident. They will know the day that you did not plan for that lesson. As a teaching assistant, at some point, I will sit down in the class and my lead teacher will be teaching. When he finishes, I'll say to him, sir, you did not plan for this lesson today. And we will bust out laughing. You'll be like, man, yesterday was hard. Do you get? Yesterday was tough. I couldn't. So as you know, your superior, when your supervisors come in and they come to, let's say, one of those impromptu supervision, when they come in, they know, the supervisor will know that you did not, they will say to you, you did not follow your lesson plan, or you didn't have a lesson plan. It's obvious. So even as a parent, when you go off your lesson plan, after visualizing, okay, or if you don't even have where you are going to, after a while, your children can tell when you are not a confident parent. So you see all this frustration. If you find yourself getting frustrated all the time, you're frustrated, you're blaming the children for everything, go and check. It's because you don't have a destination. You don't have a plan. You don't have anything on ground. You are winging too many things. So you realize that because you're winging, you are micromanaging. Because you're winging, everything depends on you. Hey, how would you want today? How will I do it today? Okay. And the moment someone removes you from that place, something comes up and you have to go. You see, everybody is like this. Everybody is useless because the micromanager is out of the picture. So that's why you see your children do nothing. So you come home, you're frustrated. I left this house. Nobody could do anything. They can't now. You are the manager. So until you remove yourself from that position, because you know where you're going to, you create your plans, you create your lesson plan, you create where you're going to, and all of that. What are the outcomes that you're looking at? What are the objective? You know, what are all of these things? When you know this, when you know the objectives, then you are able to share these objectives with your children. Okay, this is where we are going to, and this is why we are going here, and this is how we're going here. So what you have is, you have people who can align with you, because now there is a plan, because now there is a destination. Now this is what leads to tangibility in your system. This is what leads to believability in your system. This is how your children begin to believe in your in your what do you call it, intentions. Okay, this is the point where your children begin to believe in your intention. This is when they begin to believe in, you know, your approach or the strategy that you are using. This is when they can look at you and they're like, I don't know where this man is, you know, but I believe, I trust, and all of that. And this is where your spouse, even your spouse, for those who still struggle with their spouses being on the same table with them, this is when your spouse do not have, it's very difficult for your spouse to doubt, because results do not lie. Results do not lie. They show in everything that we do. So it's very, very key. Okay. So you're able to set goals using the vision that you have. Very, very key. So in the book, we said to the students, okay, so I'm sharing, by the way, I'm sharing from my new book, Unlock Your Child's Excellence, okay, a student's guide to excelling beyond the classroom. Okay, so we're saying to the children, of course, that you cannot achieve anything if you do not have a vision. So parents, help your children to start visualizing. As I said, your children cannot have what you don't have. You cannot raise a child to have what you don't have. You don't have it. You are not leveraging on support systems like the mastermind circle to help you. Okay, so some of us as parents do not even know we are struggling with these things. So the least you can do, for starters, get your children into a circle like the mastermind, where we can get your child's head on the right path. And then your child begins to walk that journey, okay? And who knows, you might be able to take from what the child is learning and use that, right, to balance. Or at least, you know, while you are trying to get yourself on track, your child is not just redundant. Someone is helping your child stay on track while you sort yourself out. But trust me, there is nothing, I mean, of all that we do with your children, if you do not equip yourself to be a part of their journey, you will not get the kind of results that a parent who is a part or is aligned or in sync with the child will get. We will make huge progress with your children, but it's even better. It's even better when you are involved. So you want to get your children into the mastermind circle, because at the end of January, we are done with the mastermind registration or enrollment till 2025, okay, till September of 2024. So we have just the end of this month, okay, and I think we have only about 18 slots left in the mastermind circle. I know 2 people who are taking slots by tomorrow. So by tomorrow, we'll have about 16 slots in the mastermind circle. It's something you want to think about. Do you have children who are 6 and between 6 and 14? Then you need to get them into this circle, because what I'm teaching you or what I'm talking about today is just one part of 8 things that we do, or 8 areas that we focus on in the mastermind circle. All right. So the next one, let me go fast. I said I'm giving you 5. The next one is mastering time management. Okay. The ability to master time management. And yes, parents, you do not have to be great at time management to save your child all of this struggle that you are struggling with right now. Some of us are struggling. I have had a good share of struggling. I am such a work in progress. I like to share my own as it is. I'm such a work in progress when it comes to this. But I've come to realize that even with you being a work in progress, you can save your children this menace. It is such a bad place to be. Procrastination, on being, I mean, not able to, be in charge. And the good thing, or the thing about it, there is really nothing like you being able to manage time. Time transcends you, so you cannot control time. So if you do not know how to manage yourself, then you will not be able to fit into the time that you have. So time is fixed. Time is 24 hours. Everybody. Elon Musk has got 24 hours, just like you and I have got 24 hours. Everybody's got 24 hours. It is your ability to manage yourself that would determine if you are able to achieve much in those 24 hours. So time management is not it. It's more like self-management. When you manage yourself, then you are able to make the best of your time. So this is what we said to the children. When you manage yourself, you're able to make the best of your time. All right. And then, of course, we give them tips on how they can manage their time, okay? How they can prepare the day before, okay? To prepare the day before for the things that you need on that day. How you can make sure that your space is tidy, okay? It's how you are organized outside. It's a reflection, or basically, of what is going on the inside, right? It's a reflection of the platform, right, that you have on the inside, or the environment that you have on the inside will determine the environment that you see outside. So basically, if you're able to, when you have a place that is organized, nicely organized, then you're able to work better and you're more productive. Yes, you're more productive. So teach the children how to put things where they belong, because when they do that, then they're able to manage themselves enough to make use of the time that they have. So if your child has to go to school in the morning and he has to start looking for his socks, his shoes, his pen, his pencil, his book, and all of that, so you see all of that time is taken because the child is unable to manage themselves. But if you teach the child that after your homework you have that routine, or you have that system, that immediately you're done with your homework, pencil goes back into the case, okay, you zip, you put it where it belongs, and all of this. You would think that these things are huge, but they are not. It just, when you're able to put your children in that space, that this becomes a routine. So routines are so important, okay? That's what we shared with the children in the book. Routines are so important that if you get them right, then you are able to navigate this compass of self-management, okay? And of course, this will show in your schoolwork. This will show in the way you manage yourself in school. This will show in your success, so that you stop wasting time that you can use to do productive things to chase things that are not productive. All right. Quickly, let's run to the fourth one, resilience. Okay, I talked about how when children are growing up, you see, do you know the skill? Do you know the resilience? Do you know the power of what it takes for a child to stay in there when they're trying to crawl? They crawl and they fall, they walk and they fall, they get up, they try again, and all of that. So, what do you think happened later after they become older that they are not trying anymore? Fear, right? So fear, criticism, okay, judgments, all of that begins to come in. So when you are a parent who is constantly judging your child, when your child makes mistake, you are constantly hampering on their mistakes, judging them and all of that. You are going to make them lose confidence in themselves. Now, when they lose confidence in themselves, they become less likely to try things. They don't want to try things that they think that they will fail at. Okay, so if the child looks at it, the child doesn't even have to have this conversation with himself or think about these things. His subconscious mind does all of this. See, the subconscious mind will have all of these conversations that I'm talking about here. Okay, all that your child is doing is just manifesting what the subconscious mind is controlling him to do. So yeah, the child may not sit down and have this conversation. Oh, will I do this? Will I do that? So that's why when you ask children some question, when parents come and they say to me, oh, he said, oh, he doesn't like it, he doesn't want to do it, I laugh. What does your 5-year-old, what does your 6-year, even your 12, 10-year-old, what do they really, really know about what is good for them? No, what do they really know about what is good for them? Your children operate from a place of their emotions. That's the part of their brain that is developed, the part that knows how to enjoy emotions and all of that. So they operate and they relate with everything from a place of emotions. So if it is not something that is pumping adrenaline, dopamine in their system, then they don't want. So if it's not video game, it is not cartoon, it is not something that is exciting and enjoyable, your child does not want. So you're going to leave the decisions that will imprint on their future on the premise of the fact, I mean, the fact that the child wants, I mean, the child is relating to this thing as if it is the day that they have pizza or the day that they have, you know, a video game to play. So no, your children don't, your kids do not have all the faculty that it takes to make major decisions like what personal development they should be getting, or you know, things like that. All right. So the moment they become older, they become too emotional. So you see, when the child is little, he is resilient. He falls and he gets up, he falls and he gets up and he tries again. So you will have to try and all right, so you have to make them know that mistakes are okay. Okay, mistakes will happen, they will fail sometimes. But what is important is not failing. What is important is your ability to rise up from that fall and try again. So you need to help them know that success is actually in many failures. So before your children even encounter failure, let them know that, oh, you won't succeed until you have failed a couple of times. So you're going to try very hard, okay, so that you are building stamina. You're going to know this thing so well. You're going to grind yourself in, you know, grow in your expertise and know how to do this thing so well. It is the knowledge that you have and how grounded you are in this thing that will help you rise when you fail. But failure will come. Failure will likely come. Okay, it will come. But some people will fall and the fall is so huge that it destroys them. Some people will fall and the fall is is bigger than the might of that fall. They are able to rise up. So it's not in the weight of, it is in the conversation with your children even before they make mistake, and you would have prepped them. This is how we have prepped them in the book Unlock Your Child's Excellence. These are the things that your children would be reading from that book. So if you have children 10 and above, then you want to get a copy of this book. You want to get a copy of this book for your children 10 and above. And I advise you, when your children read this book, read with them. Okay, spend some time, or let them read the book and review every chapter with you, so that you can add your voice in there and give them the gift of perspective. I've been saying one of the best gifts you can give your child is the gift of perspective. Let them have your perspective on every issue. Okay, and that's us hoping that you are broadening your mind. That's what's hoping that you are open, right? You are open to knowledge. So that way, with all of the knowledge that you have, your child is getting getting resources that are equipping them, and you're adding your perspective to it. I'm telling you, your child's mind will blow. You will blow your child's mind. And hey, this is the era where knowledge or wisdom is the new gold. Yes, this is the era where wisdom is the real good. Yes, all the riches and all of that, very good springboard. But raise your child with all of the riches and don't give them the gift of perspective, wisdom, and principles. Your child will squander all that money and it will still come down to nothing. And then that, of course, is for you that you think money is everything. But of course, by now we should know that money is just a tool that we can use to be every other thing that we were created to be. Lastly, reflection. Okay. Lastly, reflection, the ability to reflect, the ability to stop at the end of the day and think, what went wrong today? What went right today? What did I do right? What did I do differently? Or what should I do differently? What could I have done differently? Why did this go well? Why did this go wrongly? Where did I miss it, or where did I get it right? Now, if you get it right, how can I replicate it? If I got it wrong, what can I do to change it? It's somewhere that you want to get your children as early as possible. So this is why we have the children in the mastermind do reports to us every day. The whole idea is that the children are able to stop and reflect. Baby steps. You're making baby steps towards the skill of reflection. It is when you reflect that you're able to see where you should be thankful. The small things, the big things, the small things, the big things, the small people, the big people. And you are able to get to that point where you use gratitude as a tool to equip yourself to be someone who attracts more. So when you get your children to the place of reflection, don't teach your children gratitude without reflection. Okay, teach them reflection and let that reflection move into gratitude. I love what we're doing with the mastermind kids this month. We are teaching them about honor. Okay, the whole of last week, they honored themselves. They honored themselves. They compiled and they got, for every day, they got new things about themselves from their parents, from their from their teachers, from their parents, from themselves. Different way we give them different way to explore who they are. And they were able to put all of that in a jar. At the end of the week, they were able to pull everything that they have in that jar. And they're able to see all these 10 popsicle sticks, all these 20 feedback that I have here is who I am. Now, based on this, they're able to take all of this and they're able to create they're able to write their gratitude. Lord, I am thankful for this thing that mommy said, this person, and all of that. So you see how we can use gratitude to even help your children build their confidence, to help your children believe in themselves, to help your children know themselves, to help your children believe in what your intentions are. Because that's the only way to be in sync with your children, or that's the only way to have your children align with what goals or vision that you have with them. If you're not doing this, then the road becomes difficult because your children do not align with you. So they will continue to fight, they will continue to push back, they will continue to vex, you will continue to fight. That's how you have all the struggle you have between teenagers and their parents, okay, and then preteens and their parents. Because in all that you have done over the years, you've not been able to bring them to a point where you aligned. Because you have not aligned, it's difficult for you to work together, because a house that is not together cannot work together, isn't it? Thank you very much for being a part of this session. I hope you got value from this session. If you did, let us see you in the comments. Let us know in the comments that you did. I just shared one dimension of education from our 8-dimension model that we use in the mastermind circle. That is our signature areas of education in PTN. We put together this, and I promise you, we've used it with parents, we've used it with children, and it's worked powerfully. I like what we're doing with the children in the mastermind circle, and I promise you, it's one circle that you want your young children to come in. Okay, in fact, we are graduating some of our kids in the mastermind. This is what it is. In the mastermind, we are not going to fix children in a place. We want them to fly. We want to give them wings. So we want to equip your preteens, your young children and your preteens. So by the time they are 13 and 14, by the time they get to 14, we want to keep them with us in their early teen. By the time they are 14, we're ready to launch them out. Now we're launching them and referring them to teens group like the Girls Hub, like the Girls Hub and the boys, we're launching them to, bigger um, platforms for teenagers right now. But we know the kind of children that we're launching. See, when our kids from the mastermind show up in any other platform, especially when they've gone through the system till they are about 14, I'm telling you, the system will recognize that they came in there because we have grounded them so much that even you as a parent, you are happy because you have a teenager that is easy, not because your teenager is obedient and just following. No, but because your teenager understands what it means to align with you, what it means to be in sync with your vision, basically. And this is why we work with parents, we work with these children, and by extension, their parents, so that we can help them align. Thank you very much. My name is Maribeth Shima, and I am the matron of the Mastermind Circle and the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy. I am always excited to be a part of your journey, and we do not take it for granted that you allow us be a part of that, or that you believe in the message that we share. All right, if you also want to get our new books, 3 of them, Unlock Your Child's Excellence, I just shared today from Unlock Your Child's Excellence. We also have the Young and Money Smarts book, okay, for your 10-year plus, okay, even your 16-year-old will read this book and they will gather knowledge from this book. I promise you, when your children read Young and Money Smart, it will change their perspective on what money is. I promise you this. It will change their perspective completely on what money is, basically, on what money is not. They would know all of this. Okay. And then the third book is Christmas Stories for Champions. This one is Legacy. What life used to be like in the 70s and the 80s, where we could eat with our Muslim neighbors and go on Yawo in Kawo and all of that, where we visited the village for Ozo title, where we went, our big brother went to the army and had to come back, what it was like when the Karo troop came to the house to sing for the entire family, all the kind of things that we did growing up. Okay, we have 10 stories in that book that you can share and have fun and just laugh with your children. All right, the last one is Playtime Stories for Champions. This one is for your 0 to 10-year-olds. Amazing. You will tell stories, you will do activities together, stimulating activities, basically, that will help your children create and not just binge on screen. So get Playtime Stories for Champions, and you can structure playtime, creativity, and put a teeny weeny part of screen time in there, and there is a balance. Thank you very much again. Have a fantastic rest of the day.